Well, this was an interesting turn of events. I'm sure by now you guys know that Microsoft collabs very closely with OpenAI, and Microsoft has decided that OpenAI's DALL-E algorithm needs to be incorporated into Bing, but they're actually incorporating it in an interesting way. They're using that new DALL-E algorithm I made a video about a few weeks back, and that new DALL-E algorithm looked like it generated some really good looking imagery, lots of detail, more interesting results, more creative, and it looked competitive with Midjourney in a lot of ways, so that bodes well. We actually have access to this today. If you have access to Microsoft's new Bing chat feature, you will get access to this Bing creator image generator. And yeah, this was just announced today, so this is brand new stuff, and I'm very excited to try this new DALL-E 2 algorithm out. I was obsessed with DALL-E 2 when it came out. It was like the most mind-blowing thing to me, and now that Midjourney is better than it, I've been waiting for a DALL-E update that brings things back for a while, so let's check it out. Here is Bing's little announcement for this. So yeah, you can create images with your own words. Bing Image Creator comes to the new Bing. And yeah, they demonstrate this essentially by doing it through chat. But for some reason, I just straight up could not get Bing to create images for me. It's like, no, I can't do that. I don't have that ability. And it just kind of shrugs it off. Let's see if Bing will just do it for me now, all of a sudden. See, Bing's like, I'm sorry, I can't draw images. However, I can find you images of cats eating sushi in a cinematic style. Yes, find me those images, please. Well, actually, those are some pretty good images there. I have to say, good job, Bing, but I wanted you to generate them for me. Anyways, yeah, so that just doesn't work for me, but they have a separate website where you can just generate prompts like you normally would in DALL-E 2 or Midjourney or something like that. Over 100 million chats with the Bing AI to date, and if you guys remember, the Bing chatbot AI uses GPT-4, which is pretty fascinating. So yes, bringing Bing Image Creator new AI-powered visual stories and powered by an advanced version of the DALL-E model. And again, that is the model that we previewed a few weeks back. Generate both written and visual content in one place from within chat. The human brain processes visual information about 60,000 times faster than text. And that's why we're making visual tools, because it's a critical way that people search for information. And you know what? That's pretty fair, Bing. I agree with you. I think this is a good addition to the Bing chat, if only it worked right now, and I'm very excited to see how DALL-E has progressed from its previously fallen grace, we could say. A lot of people say that DALL-E 2 used to be a better image generator, and they kind of hampered DALL-E 2's ability to create really good images. Bing Image Creator will be fully integrated into the Bing chat experience. Oh, rolling out initially in creative mode. Well, let's try this again in creative mode this time. Alright, Bing, generate me a photo. Here we go. The chat box doesn't support images. Maybe you can try asking me to describe what the image would look like instead. Wow, alright, well, I guess it's just not here yet inside of this. It's also available just straight up in Microsoft Edge, which is how we're going to be using it today, making it the first and only browser with an integrated AI-powered image generator. Is that really, like, a huge accomplishment? I bet there's actually plugins to just include like Stable Diffusion into Chrome. I haven't looked yet, but I bet that's already a thing. I'll stop ragging on Microsoft and Bing. They've been really trying hard lately, alright? We gotta give this new DALL-E algorithm a shot. Simply click the Bing Image Creator icon in the sidebar to create your image. AI-powered visual stories and knowledge cards. To support the growing demand for more visual search experiences, we are also making stories and knowledge cards 2.0 available to all Bing users. Stories provide a more engaging way to search and interact with content, offering images and short videos. So it's like an AI-powered infographic-inspired experience that provides fun facts and key information at a glance. Interactive dynamic content like charts, graphs, timelines, visual stories, and more. This is very interesting. Man, Bing is trying some pretty crazy stuff. So yeah, it's bing.com/create for all Bing users, and it only is supported in English at the moment. Also available in Microsoft Edge from the image creator icon. Enough talking about it, let's see it. So here is updated DALL-E directly inside of Microsoft Edge, and you can see I just generated crocodile here. That was pretty much the only thing we had. And of course, we're going to have to compare this to DALL-E 2. So yeah, these are our crocodiles we got out of this image generation. If I click on one of these, you can see it up close. Still no aspect ratio available in DALL-E 2. but we're getting a 1024 by 1024 image, which is pretty large. That's a pretty big image generation, and you can see this is looking pretty detailed so far. I do like that generation of a crocodile. How about this one? Very, very close-up image. Very good for just one prompt of crocodile. Definitely very photographic. There's not a lot of artiness in this. It's not very artistic. It's very realistic, we can say, but I gotta say, this is probably a better crocodile than we'd get with DALL-E 2. We gotta test it out, though. DALL-E 2's been slow lately, so bear with me while we generate a crocodile. Alright, so here are our base DALL-E 2 crocodiles, and these are much worse, much worse. I mean, at a glance, you might not see a huge difference, but yeah, this is not very high resolution, it's not very coherent, it looks like blotchy and gross and all AI-generated mushy. These are gross. I mean, look at the lines on the floor in this. Atrocious. And then we go to our brand new DALL-E, and these are so much better. This model is looking like it's like twice as good or 3 times as good as the old DALL-E 2 one. This is way better, guys. Check that out. Yeah, this is the old DALL-E. Mushy, disgusting grossness. Go back here. Look at these. Actual good generations. This is awesome. Okay, well, very good job so far, DALL-E 2. Let's see what else you got. Crocodile is a pretty easy prompt. And you can see the layout here is actually very similar to DALL-E 2. We're still using credits here. Oh, create images more quickly with boosts. Oh, I see. All right, so I think you can actually create infinite images, but it's going to be super slow until you use like a boost. So if it is completely free and it just takes a long time, I'm okay with that. But we'll see. We'll see as we keep creating. Obviously, I had to do a lemon prompt, guys. I mean, this was an anthropomorphic lemon character from the 90s in the style of Vaporwave, a much more difficult prompt than the crocodile. Taking a look up close, there's definitely quite a lot of detail, and the lines actually in the background of this one look pretty good. They're pretty straight, I must say. And yeah, the lemon's pretty coherent. He's got legs and arms and like a face and all that. He looks decent. This one was kind of like cute, kawaii generation, still very vaporwave though. It's actually combining the styles and the ideas pretty well, and it's definitely like an anthropomorphic lemon character. He's sticking his tongue out in a creative way. I actually like this generation, which is a weird thing to say about DALL-E these days. This one's got a bunch of incoherent text on it, but other than that, he's got some sneaks, man. This guy is balling out, and the Johns and the Jordans. He's holding a lemon and a glass here at the same time. Whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. And he's also got like this vaporwave little eyeglass thing going, and he's smiling. But yeah, this is a pretty decent generation, all things considered. And this one too, it's not too bad. Like, we've got this little leaf here, and he's got some eyes and a mouth, and it's actually a lot more detailed than I think we'd get with DALL-E, but we got to try the prompt in DALL-E to know for sure. So far though, things are looking pretty good, much better than previous DALL-E results. And yeah, here's what we're getting from regular DALL-E. These generations, honestly, there's something about them that's kind of creative and fun, I think, but they're very, very incoherent. I mean, look at that. This is literally just emo limon. It's kind of a fun generation, though. Like, I kind of actually like this in some weird, like, nostalgic, glitch punk way. And that's fun to me, but it's definitely like a worse generation in the coherency department, I think. And I guess technically speaking, these generations sort of fit the prompt a little bit worse. I like the fact that it's spelt wrong and it's kind of like glitchy, and like he kind of looks cool with like his feet and just like hanging out. I don't know. There's something cool about this, but it's definitely like a worse generation by like a benchmark standard, we could say. And apparently I used a fast boost credit using that one. So let's try this again. So here's some interesting information about the boosts. Apparently we're boosting an image and it's still taking quite a long time to generate, by the way. But if you run out, apparently you can redeem more with Microsoft Rewards points, which are like these things. I have no idea what those are. Or you can wait for your boosts to be replenished on a weekly basis. Okay, so you get more weekly boost credits, and we'll see what happens when we run out of our boost credits today. Interesting that you can redeem it with Microsoft Rewards. You can get these by taking quizzes or daily polls. Very weird Facebook boomer vibes out of those Microsoft Rewards, but yeah, apparently they can give you credits. And here is our results. Oh, I meant to say photo, not hoto here, but it's a black and white cat sitting in the grass, bokeh, Lightroom preset, color graded high detail, shot on a Fujifilm X100V. And yeah, this is a pretty complex prompt. I actually happen to generate this one with Midjourney V5 as well, so we can compare it to that. But I gotta say, these generations are actually really good. Looking up close, there's a lot of detail here. It definitely looks like a photo. Very realistic. I mean, DALL-E 2 has always been great with realism here. A little bit of weirdness going on with the whiskers. The whiskers honestly look kind of like cobwebs in some ways, but the cat's face and his eyes and the structure and the size of his body and everything, it's all correct. And the bokeh's there, it's a color graded image, lots of detail, definitely a nice image. This one as well, it's good in all of the same ways. We've got a nice image in general here, it's very sharp, very realistic, except for, again, the whiskers are a little weird. Same thing going on with this one, weird whiskers. This is probably one of the worst generations out of the bunch for this prompt. And then finally, we've got this one as well, which honestly, I think this is a better one, all things considered. Whiskers are still cobwebby though, which is gross and weird, but the rest of it's pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and try the same prompt here in DALL-E 2. By the way, DALL-E 2 actually has been generating faster than this new Bing AI generation DALL-E 2, so yeah, I think there's a little bit of extra generation time that comes into the added quality. But yeah, you can see these older DALL-E 2 generations are just clearly worse. But in some ways, they're really not too bad, I think, at the end of the day. Maybe DALL-E 2 gets a little bit of a bad rap nowadays. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Oh, that is bad, though. Oh, DALL-E 2, what is going on with this? Not very good. And, ooh, this one, again, is just so blotchy. DALL-E 2 used to be better, guys. I swear to God, when I was first testing this out, before it was public access, I swear, we used to get more generations like this rather than like this. You can clearly see that this new Bing one, much better quality, easily distinguishable as much better. Let's see what our old friend Midjourney V5 is doing here. And yeah, well, Midjourney V5 is absolutely crushing it, per usual. Nothing to be seen here other than better in every way. It's going to be hard to beat Midjourney V5, let's be real. But I mean, you could just see that it's clearly a better generation. The whiskers aren't cobwebbing together. It's actually a sharper image, more realistic in a lot of ways. Still some weird painterliness, I think, and some of these, there's a weird thing going on with DALL-E 2 where it just like, yeah, that's like photo. It looks so much like a photo sometimes in terms of like the shapes of the cats, I think, how they look, their body shape and everything, where Midjourney just kind of loses that a little bit. It looks more like a painting rather than a photo a lot of the times. This new V5 model that Midjourney has developed is actually a lot better at creating images that look photorealistic. But DALL-E 2 still might have an edge in some ways in terms of the shape of the body. But in terms of coherency and clear detail, man, Midjourney just takes the cake all day long. These images people would consider as better, to be honest. I really do think that people would look at this and go, yeah, these are better than DALL-E 2's images. But honestly, DALL-E 2 is not too far behind. It's really not that far behind. It's catching up, especially with this. This is a prompt that I really enjoyed creating yesterday with Midjourney V5. POV, walking through the jungle, cinematic, photo taken on a Fujifilm X100V bokeh. I mean, there's some POV going on and definitely bokeh, but the actual figure is blurred out entirely in the image. I mean, the image looks realistic, I guess, but I don't like the composition of it very much at all. And it's kind of the same story for the rest of these. I mean, it's definitely through the jungle and all of that. And they're all very dark images, by the way, that I've noticed. This one's pretty good, though. The human being in this is a little bit wacky, a little bit screwed up in some ways, but the background looks good, and the rest of it, and like the style of the image is nice. And this one's pretty cool, honestly, I think. You can see like the person walking, that's all blurred in the background with the bokeh, and then like the leaves of the jungle. It's a pretty cool image. DALL-E 2 is just giving us like pictures of jungle that are super blotchy and gross. Really not much to see here, guys. These images are not very good at all. They're boring, they're bland, they're blotchy. However, Midjourney V5 gave us some beautiful images. I love these images way more than even the new experimental DALL-E image. And you can see like this person's body here. There's a lot more detail. Like you can see they're wearing a backpack and like their long hair, and there's like some bokeh, but it doesn't interfere with like the whole POV aspect of the image as a whole. It's very sharp and detailed, and like the sun is coming through. It feels like you're in the jungle with someone. These images are fantastic. And then this one too, there's still that bokeh blur there, but it's still like a wide angle POV in the jungle image, and you can still see someone down there in the background, but they're a little hard to see. The human body in this one still is messed up, though. I will agree on that. This one's a lot less messed up. Definitely looks like a person in the background, and like the same vibes here. They're all just beautiful images, and they retain all of the aspects of the prompt that I was looking for, and they're just fantastic. It's hard to compete, especially with these results. This image was probably my favorite here. You can see like the person in the background, or like the foreground, I should say, is actually a little bit blurred, and then this is what's actually in focus. It's like these trees here, and then we also see some more blurred foliage here, and we can actually see some light beams poking through here. This shows you what Midjourney is truly capable of now, and it's way beyond anything else I have seen in the image generation space at the moment. So yeah, Midjourney is still winning on all fronts so far. This next one is going to be a test of whether or not they can create characters and combine different aspects of different famous characters together. So the prompt for this one was Walter White Lego character, Lego set, Breaking Bad. And this is obviously the Midjourney V5 result here. Definitely creates a Walter White-based Lego character, Lego set, and all the images look very realistic. It looks like product photography. It relates to the show. He's wearing that iconic yellow hazmat uniform here. He's got binoculars here that look like they're made out of Legos, and this whole thing just looks really good generation. It's hard to do stuff like this for these AI techs, because not only do they have to take like a famous copyrighted character and understand the aspects of like the whole property, let's say, but they have to apply them to a Lego set, which is a completely different concept, and also make it look completely realistic at the same time. And here's what we got out of regular DALL-E. These are all really junky and gross, as you'd imagine. I mean, they've got some basic aspects of Walter White here. You can tell it's Lego for sure, but it's not very fun at all, and they're not very coherent. It's all very blurry. It's kind of like it's all bald characters pretty much, except for this one. And like obviously we've got like the little test tube here, so it gets the idea of Walter White, but it can't render it out in a coherent way. Let's see what we got out of the new DALL-E. And this is much better. These are actually pretty good. I mean, not at the level of Midjourney V5, let's say, but all things considered, yeah, that is a Walter White Lego character. Much more coherent, and look at the detail on that one. Much sharper than the old DALL-E 2. So this is definitely an improvement over the old one, without a doubt. I mean, there's something new here, and that's exciting, but not at the level of Midjourney V5. I mean, all of these are definitely worse than even one of the previous Midjourney V5 generations, miles better than the original DALL-E 2. This is a generation that all of these models should be well suited to, but especially the older DALL-E, actually, I know can take a generation like this and make it look good, or a prompt like this, I should say. So this is a striking, award-winning, detailed photo of a confident tabby cat. And yeah, this is obviously the Midjourney V5 result. It is beautiful. Man, Midjourney V5 is good. It is so detailed and so intricate. I mean, look at these generations, guys. Again, though, while this is like award-winning photography, it does look a little bit painted in some ways. It doesn't exactly look like an exact photo, and that's kind of where Midjourney has always fallen short in the photography department. It doesn't look exactly real. This one definitely looks a lot like a real photo, I will say, and so does this one, but like this one especially looks a little bit painterly. It looks a little bit artistic, not exactly perfect, but man, it's still a really good image. The whiskers are flawless, the cat's face is flawless. They're beautiful results from Midjourney. Let's see what the original DALL-E 2 did here. All right, like I said, it's still a well-suited prompt to the original DALL-E. These are still pretty good. Like, that actually almost looks like a completely real photo. He looks really grumpy and upset at me. I don't know what I did wrong, but this one, I will say it almost looks like real photo. It looks almost real. Compared to the Midjourney ones, though, original DALL-E, yeah, you know what? There is something there with even the original DALL-E where I'll say it actually looks as though it's taken on a camera, where like Midjourney, it looks like it was generated or like painted by the world's best artist to look like a photo. These actually look like they were photography. Face is a little screwed up there. This one looks a lot like a photo too. It's got some photographic aspect to it that Midjourney just doesn't possess, and even this one, yeah. So these are actually all pretty decent results out of DALL-E. They look very real. Let's see what the new one did. The new one is very similar in a lot of ways. I will say, though, a lot more sharp and realistic. Still screwing up the whiskers, though, which is upsetting to see, especially in this one, which is a little bit, I think, less difficult than our first cat prompt today. This is a lot more similar to the original DALL-E ones. I will say the fur is a lot more sharp and a lot more clean than the first ones. The cat's dimensions are honestly a little screwed up here, though, in some ways. It is a very close-up photo. Yeah, this one's a little screwed up, I'll say. But I mean, when you're getting real close up to a cat like that, it's easier for the AI to screw things up. They're still really good generations, though. Still better than the original DALL-E. I think the framing is worse, though, for some of these. I mean, I did say it's an 800mm lens, which is like a really far zooming lens, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just, you're not going to compete with this. These, I wouldn't say, are particularly close to what I would expect out of an 800mm lens for a camera. Here's our next prompt. This prompt was a road sign that warns that Walter White, the character from Breaking Bad, might be up ahead by displaying a graphic of his face. Pretty specific prompt. Again, it's combining those unique elements together. We're taking Walter White, a character from a show, and saying that his face needs to be on a road sign that's warning that he might be up ahead. So it's a weird prompt. It's a weird idea to convey. Midjourney V5, as we can see right here, absolutely accomplished the task. It put his face right on a road sign. It looks like a photo of a road sign. There's no mystery really to it at all. These are just fantastic results of exactly what I wanted from the prompt. And I like that they're all in the desert where like the show takes place too. I think that's a nice little touch to it. But yeah, these are very realistic photos. Obviously, DALL-E 2 doesn't really accomplish this nearly as well. I mean, it's definitely a photo of a road sign, definitely resembles a bald guy, but you might not know that it's Walter White at a first glance. And it's also putting a lot of text on there that just doesn't need to be there necessarily. And the road sign's like, they're a little bit incoherent. I mean, it's DALL-E 2. We know what DALL-E 2 looks like. It's not the best. All right, and the newer version of DALL-E, honestly, is not much better at all, really. I mean, if anything, the images are a little bit more sharp, which is nice to see. Other than that, though, it's blotchy. Doesn't really look like Walter White. Like, that just kind of looks like a mad scientist. Like, I don't even know who that is. Like, who is this? Is that like a priest? What's going on in this image? This one's a little bit more realistic in terms of the road sign, though. Either way, they're all worse than Midjourney V5. This next prompt is true AI generation level stuff. This is the kind of imagery that honestly came out of AI generated art being a thing. We're trying to combine different elements together to create something new and fun. So what was this prompt? Well, this was an artistic character concept for a 1940s detective frog, smoking a cigarette and wearing a detective's hat. He is disgruntled and at a pub. Extremely detailed digital art 8K. That is a complex prompt. It's very detailed. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to see. And this is Midjourney V5's result, and most of these are really quite good. As you can see here, this is easily, in my opinion at least, the best result of the bunch. He's like disgruntled, kind of looking over there. He's smoking his cigarette. He's at a pub. The smoke is coming out of his drink at the pub, which is a little strange, but maybe he's having a late night coffee. You never really know for sure. Very coherent, very detailed, very nice. The rest of these images are still pretty good too. Like this one, he's definitely at a pub. This one's fantastic too, by the way. But he's not smoking like I wanted in the prompt. The cigarette or whatever he's smoking is kind of like blending into like his skin in a weird way over here. It's not exactly sticking out of his mouth in a perfect way. It's hard for these AIs to do images of people smoking. I actually had a whole argument about it on my Discord server months and months ago when Stable Diffusion released. If you go down here too, this one, obviously, he's not smoking. It also looks like the straw of his drink is going into his neck. So this is probably the worst generation of the bunch for Midjourney V5, but it still did a very good job overall. Let's see what the original DALL-E 2 did. Original DALL-E 2 totally took a different stance at this and did all of them pretty much in like a cartoony aspect. And these images, I mean, they're blurry, they're blotchy. He's definitely like a frog character. You can tell he's a detective and that he's smoking, but they're inconsistent as a whole. I still like, though, some aspects about this. It's got the pipe correctly in his mouth, and he definitely looks like a detective. So these, honestly, considering what the reputation of DALL-E 2 is now, these are pretty good for DALL-E 2. Let's see what the new updated version of DALL-E does. Man, oh man, has things improved? This is a lot better. Still kind of blurry and blotchy in a lot of ways, where like Midjourney has like this nice crisp coherentness to it. This version of DALL-E still gets a little bit blotchy and less detailed, but the smoking here is very nice. The whole aspect, all of these images are so far beyond what original DALL-E did. He's definitely a detective in the bar. I love this frog character so much more. He's got his drink at the bar. Really, really cool artistic images. I mean, look at the character and the life in this one. The hands are definitely screwed up. The cigarette he's smoking is definitely still screwed up, but look at his face and look at the detective. I love how much character is bursting out of this image. Really, really nice generations as a whole. This one too, he looks so disgruntled and upset. This is probably the best one of the bunch in terms of the Microsoft Bing updated DALL-E 2 generations. It's a fantastic result. I really like the character that's bursting out of these images. I don't know why it's impressing me so much. I mean, the Midjourney ones are still really impressive and probably more impressive at the end of the day than these ones, but still, there's something about them that gets me excited. I really like the creativeness of these ones, especially this one. He just looks so disgruntled. I think it's because this looks more like a frog character than the V5 ones do. Like, these V5 ones still look like a frog. This guy looks more like an animated frog character, like a turtle even, where these ones, they're just like, yeah, that's straight frog right there. That guy looks straight like a bullfrog detective character. It looks so realistic, and I think that's why I'm a little bit more partial to these generations, and just the fact that they're so much better than the original DALL-E 2 ones. I'm just going to show you some more images generated by this new updated DALL-E 2 algorithm. This was a professional photo of a Shih Tzu dressed up for a business interview, shot at the park, professional lighting, taken on a Panasonic GH5 50mm lens, f3.5, and you can see, yeah, I mean, this is pretty accurate. The dog looks pretty decent, still kind of looks like a stuffed animal in some weird ways. It's not a super realistic generation. I was also testing out the same prompt with Midjourney V5, and I gotta say, the Midjourney V5 images quite literally looked nearly flawless, and they're definitely better than this one, but this is a lot better than what you would get out of DALL-E 2. Based on what we've seen today, pretty much every single generation was better than the original DALL-E 2. These images are very acceptable for what's going on here with this model. I mean, he's in the suit. It's the whole shebang here. Good generations. These are impressive. Like, no buts about it. I am not disappointed. Photo of a skateboarding penguin with a sun hat. None of these are really photography, I guess you could say. I was kind of expecting more like nature photography style things going on, but little toys of penguins skateboarding with sun hats. And either way, very coherent results here. I like this. They're definitely good results. These ones were actually pretty impressive. This is something I guarantee DALL-E 2 would have completely bombed at originally, and now it's actually giving us decent results here with the new updated algorithm with DALL-E 2 here. So this is a low-angle photo of a Shih Tzu on a pirate ship out at sea with a dog wearing a pirate hat and an eye patch. The ship is in the middle of a storm, and the waves are crashing against the side of the ships. That's definitely what we're more or less seeing here, except the ship looks like it's sinking into the water, so I don't think this guy is going to be surviving for too much longer. And yeah, he's a pretty coherent animal, all things considered. A wide-angle image, which I never really specified. Low angle action shot, still pretty cool looking. He's also missing an eye, but we'll ignore that. The rest of these, though, it's still wind blowing in his face. He's detailed. We can see the pirate ship in the background. It's a low angle, wide shot. The waves are clearly crashing. He's in a storm. This one's a little bit more on the artistic side. This is a pretty fun image, something that you might expect more out of Midjourney V4, I would say. This looks like a V4 Midjourney image to me. I mean, these are better results. The dogs look so much more realistic. More of the pirate ship is intact in general. Here is me trying to recreate my logo. And yeah, we got these cute little lemon characters that came out pretty good at the end of the day. These are very sharp 3D renders. There's a little bit of processing you can see on the edges of some of these. Looks a little bit blown out or over processed in some ways, and maybe that's them trying to extract as much detail as physically possible out of the model. But yeah, there could be a little bit of overprocessing going on with these. I really like this result though. It's a pretty cute little character. So yeah, there was our in-depth look at this new DALL-E model. You can see they have a bunch of different results here to show off the new capabilities here. We got these strawberries, astronaut skater in space in a nebula, a guitar made of flowers, volcano exploding, lemon surrealist painting, this bright eye makeup look. This one's pretty impressive. The number 2 leaves on a teal background. This is really, really cool. Probably one of the best ones out there right now, if you want me to be honest about it. Midjourney V5 is still better, and if I had to choose one model, it's gonna be Midjourney V5, especially with the added versatility of the new latest model, and the fact you can do aspect ratios with Midjourney, and there isn't even in-painting that's actually available with this new DALL-E 2 model here in the Microsoft Bing image creator yet, so that's also another hiccup in this. It doesn't even have that, which was probably the best part about the original DALL-E 2. Still though, I mean, the fact that we can generate this for completely free at the moment is pretty awesome. Technically, you do have infinite image generations with this model, which is a huge, huge step up from DALL-E 2. As you can see here, if you run out, image generation might take longer. So they're kind of doing the ChatGPT method here, where you've got infinite generations until you get more of these like fast credits. So that pricing model is a lot better than the original DALL-E 2 pricing model. Still, Midjourney subscription plans are pretty good, and it's just hard to compete with Midjourney in general. But I could see why people would totally prefer this model over like a fine-tuned Stable Diffusion model. Anyways, viewers, that's about it from me for today. Tell me what you guys think about this new model. It's definitely a lot better than the old DALL-E 2 model. We can all agree on that. It's better in every front, but does it compete with Midjourney V5 in any way? Is it better than the fine-tuned Stable Diffusion models that you guys use at home right now? And tell me what you think about their new pricing attack with this, where you get free credits every week, but technically you have infinite generations that might just take a super long time to generate them. I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you so much for supporting the channel, liking, subscribing, and being in my Discord server as well. The Discord server is absolutely awesome. Peace out. See you next time.